I'm Kathy. I'm a literacy worker in Cameroon with 4 languages. When I think about literacy, I think about the women in our area. Hardly any of them can read or write in any language. They speak their own language. And I've got a friend of mine who, she's a believer. She wants to grow in her faith, but how can she? Because the Bible's not in her language and the Bible is in English and she can't read. So the only chance she has to hear the Bible is in church on Sunday, where it's read in English, sometimes so badly that I can't even understand what passage it was. So what hope does she have? So this friend has been learning to read and write in her own language the last 2 years. And I think one of the main reasons she comes along is the devotion. It's just basic and short. At the beginning, I read a little bit in the Cameroonian Pidgin New Testament out to them, and then I ask them in their language what they have understood, and then the women tell me what they've understood and we discuss how it relates to their lives. And she just loves that because God speaks to her in those times. For the rest of us, we can pick up a Bible whenever we like and hear what it says, but that's her one chance whenever there's a class. And ultimate goal is to be able to read scripture when it comes in her language. Well, I don't think people realise how disadvantaged kids are who go to school and it's not in their own language. So a lot of kids just totally fail at school like their parents did before them. It's quite depressing to be in a school in our area. So literacy in their own language can help those kind of kids. I think of one little kid on Deafy who is in our neighbourhood, and I included him in a class when I was teaching some kids in our neighbourhood to learn to read and write their language. And he wasn't great at school, you know, but he did participate with these kids for the 40 or so lessons that we had in the evenings. He was always at the bottom. I thought, you know, I don't know whether he's really going to make it. But now, like a year or 2 later, after having had those lessons and then going to school, he can read and write his own language. But what's surprising to me is that he's going so much better at school. I think it just took literacy in his own language to realise, to get over this hump of this print on the page actually means something, you know. And before, if he wouldn't really try to read English, because even if he read it, he wouldn't understand what it was. You know, what's the point of knowing how to read it if then you don't get a message out of it? Whereas now, he knows it has meaning, and so he's going so much better at school, and I just didn't think that would be a consequence.